My name is Ralf Friedrichs, and I'm with...
Cookie, Rosemary,
okay.
whatever.
So Cookie and I have been talking,
yes.
and she was just testifying that she knows a few people, this and that. She does smoke, but that's about it. So you were saying you did go to AA and NA.
Years ago, many years, AA. I'm not saying I'm not against them, but you know, like, and some people have a higher power. My higher power, yes, I choose to be God. I'm a born-again Christian. But the thing is that what happens is that it's like, you feel like over and over again, you're talking about the same thing, over and over and over and over.
I know.
You know, and see, when God delivers you, you know what I'm saying? That's it. I mean, not that you're not tempted every day. Yeah. And I know you every day.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you're tempted.
Absolutely.
To get high again.
Absolutely.
And there are many people out there. And they even have about the heroin. It's horrible.
Yeah.
My first husband, I met him, I was 17. He was on the methadone program.
Right.
And you know what that is? A government high.
Wow.
That's all that is, a government high.
Yeah.
And I thank God for these places that, you know, for recovery.
Yeah.
That people can go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's...
But you're absolutely right about the temptation. I mean, I can walk into... But you know what?
Every day.
Here are things that I think about. The consequences.
Yeah.
And am I serving my Lord then if I'm doing that? Because wouldn't I be a hypocrite to sit here and tell you not to do it if I'm going to do it?
But you know what? One thing I do know, God's grace and mercy. And I tell people, if you have a slip, God forbid, you pick yourself up.
Absolutely.
And you start
Amen.
over.
That's what I tell
one day at a time. That is a good one day
yep.
at a time.
Yep.
You know, but...
No, but it's true. Pick yourself up. Don't ever go back into the old abusive ways and take yourself into and move forward. The reason I felt that AA wasn't helping me is I needed to be more active.
Oh, thank you.
How you doing? Hi, I'm Ralph.
Yeah,
nice
well, you know what?
I needed to be more active, and this is my way of doing it. If on here, on the card...
out here, what you're doing now, right?
Yeah, this yellow card on the back of here.
Okay.
On the back, there's a yellow card. There's going to be a website on there, okay? Which I'll get it. Is www.clearviews.
Right.
Right on here. Right there.
All right.
Go on there, and I have over 100 videos that I've made already that have been in schools, that have been in the jails, that have been in AA meetings. Go on there and take a look.
I will.
But what I will tell you is that the reason I came up with Clearview is the name, Clear. You know what I decided to...
Clear.
Community Lessons Empower Addiction Recovery.
Wow.
It is your lesson and my lesson that's going to help whoever's going to listen to this tape recorder. Community Lessons. And my other business is Clear Reform. Community Lessons Empower Addiction Recovery. Reform means to transform, to reform you.
But you know, you're saying that because the church, they go to the agape.
Yeah.
When you become born again, you become transformed.
Yeah, reformed. That's
it's very, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know?
And that's the name of that. And right now,
wow.
I just became an addiction recovery coach after graduating from school. I'm an optician by trade. I've been doing that for 30 years.
You mean eye?
Right. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm doing this for free to build up my self-confidence and how to deal with people.
And keep you, like you said, it keeps
me active. It keeps me active because what I learned at the university at a program is only out of a book. One-on-one interaction is my best lessons in the world. Yeah. And being that I'm originally from the neighborhood here, I used to walk to this liquor shop and walk to my house on Bogota Road and drink 15 shots of vodka just in the one walk to get my fill. Now we've moved to the Hamptons, my wife and I. We still have the house.
All right.
But I decided to come into my neighborhood that I was, and still am an alcoholic, but I've learned to live with it. Because
brought you back here.
Yeah, and you know what? You're always going to have that addiction.
Always.
It's how you live with it and how you conquer it.
But you know what? One thing, that's who Jesus died for. He died for the drug addict.
Yeah.
He died for the alcoholic.
Yes.
That's who he died for.
Amen to that.
He didn't die for the people that are, I mean, not that, he loves everybody, the rich, the poor.
Yeah.
But that's who he sat with the sinner.
Yeah.
And that's who he died for.
Absolutely.
So you're in a perfect spot right here, let me tell you.
I spoke to him the other day.
This area, oh my God.
Yeah. I used to come here years ago to help him with other things, and
I knew him many years ago before he.
There you go.
Many
and
years.
I created Mastic Beach Outreach 2011 when I was still an alcoholic, and God still let me write my own.
We will pray for you because believe me, it's needed. It is needed.
But I speak about your book of life and my book of life. We all have chapters in our book of life.
We do. Yes, we do.
And the last chapters in your book are the most important chapters because God will forgive no matter what the chapters were before. God will forgive you for that.
But you know, my problem always was forgiving myself.
I know, that's the...
I know that.
But if God's willing to forgive you, forgive yourself.
Now.
Yeah.
Now. I've learned that. and learn to forgive myself.
Exactly.
But it took a lot. I'm going to be 60 years old.
Oh, wow. You're a few years older than me.
1978.
Wow.
I gave my heart to Jesus in a laundromat.
Wow.
I gave my heart to him, yeah. But I have many, like I said, I have many, many people I know that they have testimonies, and I know they would talk.
Right.
They would talk and share with other people.
Right.
I have a cousin that died. She's with the Lord now. But because of drug addiction, when I went to see her, she looked 90 years old. That's what the drug did to her. She said, Cookie, if I can tell you anything before I take my last breath, she said, tell him don't do the drugs. She looked 90 years old.
Oh, my God.
She was a gorgeous, beautiful girl. She was maybe 40, 50 years old. And she looked 90. That's what the drugs did to her. You know? But see, it's hard because that tough love.
Yeah.
To get somebody to get that help.
Right.
People have to have that.
People don't realize the addiction is the devil. And it doesn't matter if you're black or white. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter. If you allow it to be in you, and you know what? I don't buy anyone tell me that they can't do it, because they can. But you need to have two things: the will and your higher power.
Yes.
If you don't have, if you only have one of those, because I've always had the higher power. I was born in a Christian family.
I was raised Catholic.
But I never had the will until I hit rock bottom. I can tell you the exact date, June 22nd of 2013. I hit rock bottom, where I just knew if I didn't do something right there and then, my life was over.
For my oldest son, because of, and people don't realize, it is, they say the genes, there are also a spiritual world out there. All right, as sure as there's a God, there was a Satan.
Yes.
And there are strongholds that of alcoholism, of drug addicts. Because my first husband, like I said, I met him. Well, guess what? My son, my oldest son, became a heroin addict.
Yeah.
It carries on.
It's not just in your genes, but when you look at my videos, there's a video, it's called Role Model. The kids look at you as the hero.
Yes.
So if you're going to curse in front of them, they're going to think it's okay. If you're going to hit, domestic, if you're going to drink or smoke, they're going to say, well, my parents, that's why you have Jerry Springer and Maury and all those guys in business.
Yeah, oh, God.
Because it's monkey see, monkey do attitude. We as parents and grandparents, in my case now, we have to be role models.
We do.
And it took a lot of years, but you know what? God forgave me up until June 22nd, 2013, and my new life started at that point. And I feel that it was God that's telling me I need to help me by helping others. I was in the Marine Corps, and I was a lay leader in the Marine Corps, which is a pastor. That's what I did in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
But I was still an alcoholic, so God just let me run my own life until I knew I had to reach out to Him.
He will. See, God made us with a free will.
Yeah.
He didn't make robots.
Yeah, exactly.
We have the choice. Like my son that passed 2 years ago, all right? My son, Peter. I have 7 kids. September 5th, he hit a tree on William Floyd Parkway.
Oh, no.
He's with Jesus, but I'm not going to lie. I was a little...
You get angry.
I was. And I said, I don't know what... And my pastor, my friend, said that it wasn't his time to go. The enemy robbed him of his life.
Yeah.
He was in his 30s.
Yeah.
All right? I mean, he's thinking like sold marijuana. It was low in his car. When I went down to get his property, they gave me, they kept they gave me the scale, everything. I don't know, only God knows.
Yeah.
If he started a new job, he was working 2 weeks, it was 5 in the morning. I don't know, God knows. But because of my first husband was hit by 3 cars.
Oh my God.
I was 23. I did not want the autopsy. My kids wanted me to get it. I said, you know what? I don't want to redo autopsy because it doesn't matter. Because of my first husband, it tormented me. I read it and it goes into every detail.
Oh, wow.
And for years and years and years, I did not want to read that. But I know my first husband. Are you kidding? I used to worry every night he would overdose and die in the bathtub. One thing he respected, he never did it in the house, never brought home to the house.
Right.
But I knew when he came home.
Yeah, he was a closet.
I knew when he came home that he was sitting there, nodding. I said, please don't lock the bathroom door.
Right.
Please don't lock the door. Every night I afraid I'd find him dead in the bathtub.
Wow.
Dead in the bathtub. But people, they're afraid to talk.
Do you realize that your life experience, for somebody to actually see how you're making those faces to me one day, would be so worth it? People, like I do my videos every day in front of the camera, an hour a day with a lot of commercials, and I'm sponsored. If you call me, if you ever feel comfortable enough, I would be...
No teeth, you know.
Yeah, that's okay. My mom doesn't, my wife doesn't have it on top either. But if you ever do, call me, okay? Because your testimony when people see a face, and they're going to hear the voice, but if they ever get to see your face, that's going to have an impact. Yes, I interviewed a childhood friend in Texas who lost her husband and her brother-in-law and her mother all within 12 months, and she became so heavily involved in drugs and alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
And she started hating God, but now she's recovered from all that. And
I mean, when my first husband died, okay, because we were starting a new life, we were moving to Florida. He was going down. He'd been, clean for like a while, and we were going to move, and it happened December 16th. I'll never forget that day.
Wow.
And 9 days I get a phone call. He was only there a few weeks, 6 weeks maybe. And I get a phone call, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, maybe he's in the hospital, okay. No, there was nothing they could do. Nothing they could do? What do you mean there's nothing they could do? Then it hit me. All right, I was 23. I learned very young in life that life is short.
Yeah.
None of us are guaranteed tomorrow.
No, absolutely not.
And when I think back when we were together, I think back of all the craziness and and it's just, and you try to tell people because you want, you try to tell your kids. But the second one, I was single parent 10 years before I remarried. It wasn't easy, it was hard. And I tried to tell when I married my second husband, he was an alcoholic, schizophrenia, depression,
Oh, wow.
And it's like, you tell them, but just like my mother. I didn't listen to my mother. I didn't listen to my mom. I was rebellious.
You think you knew it better? No. You think, like I always thought too?
We want to tell them, we love you. We don't want to see you.
Yeah.
They got to go through it like we went through it.
Yeah, yeah.
We want to tell them, but tough love's hard to do.
It really is, and you've lost people.
And people that have they say, oh, I can't do that. But they're going to buy drugs. They're going to get high.
You can't control everything.
Feed them, bring them food, give them somewhere to sleep for the night, maybe. But once you give them that money, they're going to buy drugs.
Yeah.
So think.
Yeah.
But it's not easy.
Well, you know what? I said this in one of my videos. I don't know if you realize, but every person has a legal drug dealer living in their own home.
Oh, yeah.
And you know where that is? It's in your own bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is the Mr. Medicine Cabinet. I choose to call.
Nowadays, they'll get high. I mean, when I was a kid, they took, in high school, they had the bags and the still and the glue. Nowadays, there's so much more.
Right.
They're doing the cough medicine, everything to get high.
Yeah.
And so many parents work,
yeah.
and they don't even know what their kids are doing. They don't look on the computer. They don't check up. I tell them, what is that? My daughter, I tell her, look on her phone.
Yeah.
What is she doing? Who's she talking to on the phone?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, boy.
Wake up, America. Hello. On the news, they said about just recently the heroin.
Yeah, it's going to be on Monday on Channel 12. Yeah.
But, wake up. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's walking around like everything's okay. It's not.
Yeah, you're right. But listen,
they say alcohol is illegal. That's one of the worst.
It's because you're driving a car, possibly.
They're saying about the crack and the heroin. What about alcohol?
Yeah, alcohol and marijuana. Yeah, now they're legalizing marijuana.
Exactly, in the other states, it's working its way.
I know.
Medical use.
Yeah.
Medical use.
Yeah, that's everything's about money is what it really comes down to.
That.
Everything's about money. But listen, I want to thank you. And
no problem, hon. I have your...
Give me a call if you... Let me just shut this off here.
All right.
And give me a
Fill my eyes
Hello folks, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I just want to share my story with my situation back in 1981 in the United States Marine Corps. I was sitting in a chapel during boot camp, and a chaplain tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to come into his quiet room. As I was walking into his quiet room, I had no idea what he wanted from me. It was then that God was setting my life in motion. So the chaplain sat me down and he says, Ralph, I've noticed that you like to help people, you motivate people, you're always walking around with a smile. And I wanted to know, and this is the chaplain saying this to me, I wanted to know, Ralph, would you like to volunteer and become a lay leader? And of course, I had no idea what a lay leader was. So he explained to me what a lay leader was. It's somebody that is a liaison between the recruits and the chaplain. So when the recruits have issues, problems, or anything like that, they go to the lay leader, and they go to the chaplain as the lay leader to let the chaplain know of the situations that are happening. It was then in 1981 that God already had a plan for me, and when there from that point on was that God realized that no matter how long it would take for me to achieve what God already knew what was going to happen to me, He would let me go down into the worst extremes in life. So from 1981 as a lay leader, and I'm going to show you the medal now with a lay leader, the front and the back. This is the back of the medal, and then the front looks like this. So in 1981, at Paris Island, South Carolina, when I became a lay leader, God already had my life set in motion. But again, He wanted me to set my own course in life. So I went down the years and the course of my life and did some of the worst things possible to my own body through alcoholism. God already said to Himself, well, I'm going to wait for Ralph to get close to hitting rock bottom. So from 1981 until 2011, which is 30 years, God came to me again and He said, Ralph, are you ready to continue helping other people? That's when I formed Mastic Beach Outreach 2011, and what that was is for older people and mentally and physically challenged people, that my wife and I would help them by giving them clothing, food, possibly, like in one case, tires for someone's car. And so God said, okay, he is getting better, but he's still not ready to do what I really wanted him to do. So in 2011, I continued my alcoholism to the point of 10 to 15 shots a day. As time went further, two years down the road, it became worse and worse with my alcoholism. In 2013, God finally put His big hand on my head and says, are you ready now? That is when I hit rock bottom. June 22nd, 2013, I reached out and I finally admit that I had an alcohol problem. It was then when God lifted me up and set my life in motion for today, September 2nd, 2014. So from 2013 until 2014, I continue educating myself and you, others, through my websites, through my videos on how to battle with addiction. And God saw this, and He said to Himself, Ralph is still continuing helping people. So in between 2013 and 2014, as time was going by, and I proved to God that I was really reforming myself, that God introduced me to Dr. Luis Gonzalez. I had been toying with the idea about becoming a substance abuse counselor until I ran into an article about recovery coaching. So I thought it was very ironic that God had planted Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point, that's StartingPointMN.com, 844-414-8444, into my life. Dr. Luis Gonzalez gave me the educational programming to turn me into a recovery coach. So while I was training for Dr. Luis Gonzalez to become a recovery coach, and today, my father comes from South Carolina to visit, and we're looking at my shrine, which my wife calls a shrine, which is all my Marine Corps ribbons and medals. And my father asked me, Ralph, what is this medal for? What is this particular medal for? And I then said to myself, here's where it all came together. I finally realized what that medal stood for and how it influenced me in my life. It was back in 1981 that God knew already that I would eventually, towards the middle or 60% of my life, be out to help other people, to continuously help people, to motivate people, to coach people. So it was from 1981 to 2011 that I ran my life to the ragged ends, to the pit of the worst. And then from 2011 to 2013, even worse than that. And then June 22nd, 2013, finally helped myself up with the grace of God. And in 2014 became an addiction recovery coach. And all that epiphany came to me due to my father asking me what this stood for. This particular silver medal. When he asked me that, it all finally came together, that God had bigger and better plans for me. And this is what I'm telling you, folks. There is a plan for you. No matter what the plan might be, you don't know what it is, but there is a plan for you. It's just a matter of you figuring it out. So why don't you let me help take your life back? Thank you. God bless you, and have a sober day. Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back. Today is September 4th. It's about 3:30 in the morning. I just want to share with everyone something this morning. I saw a demonstration maybe about a month ago in reference to our dark side and the power of prayer. If you continuously pray over and over and over again, things will eventually become clear. Although a lot of times when we pray to God, we don't get answers right away. But if you continuously pray over and over, things become clear. So the demonstration involves this bottle, and if you see, the inside of this bottle is all dark liquid. That represents our dark side. And this cap represents our limitations. So we as a human, which is the bottle, have limitations, which is this cap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bottle into the sink, and we're going to do a demonstration. So let me put that there. I'm going to turn the camera around so that everybody can see it. And hopefully you folks can all see it now. Okay, so you see the bottle. I'm going to turn the water on. Okay, so now everything inside is dark, which represents our body and our inside. And what I'm going to do, and this clear water represents our prayer. So you see the continuous water running. I'm going to now, as the prayer, as we're praying, I'm going to lift our limitations, which is the cap. And we're going to slowly add our prayer to this. We all go through dark times. I mean, I've had some dark years. I just didn't understand everything that was happening. I'm going to admit it that I'm not a super patient person. I tend to want answers right away and know what's happening and what I can do to solve it. I don't like not being happy and confident about things. It's just not who I am. But when I get down, it takes a lot for me to get back up. If we pray for a sign, which is this, the water is prayer, but just give up because we feel like God's already heard our prayer and He knows what we need, but He hasn't answered. It's kind of like when we were kids in the toy store and we kept asking our mom and dad for toys, but we never got any results. Yeah, it never worked for me either, but you get what I mean. Anyway, that is exactly what's happened to me in the past years. I have prayed and prayed and prayed, but haven't really gotten any results. The answer I thought God would give me, and especially in the time of frame, I thought my problems would be fixed, which was all before 2013. Then in 2013, my cap of limitations was lifted. This is the cap, remember this now, was lifted off the bottle, which is my body. Here is where I will just show you how that worked for me. So basically we all have dark sides, which is what's in the bottle, was in the bottle. We are facing, and we take the limitations off our mind, which was the cap I lifted. Don't limit what He can do, because we have to just trust in the Lord. That sometimes even after we pray and we just give up, and it is often why we get defeated. However, even though nothing has really changed, we just keep praying. That's the prayer, the sign of the prayer, the flowing Lord. Just keep praying and never ever give up praying. And if we do that and devote ourselves completely to the Lord, He will pull us through. The dark times will go away, and we just have to be patient. I know it's hard. Being patient truly is a virtue. But by never ever giving up on prayer, it's going to show you that God will eventually answer all your prayer. And the more we pray, which is this water going into the bottle, one day everything will become clear. You see how clear this is now? That is the power of prayer. Folks, I think that demonstration says it all. If we had a bottle which represents our body, and the bottle, everything was dark on the inside, and the water coming out of the faucet represents the prayer, day after day after day, just keeps adding to the darkness which was in the bottle. Eventually all that prayer has to turn what was dark inside this bottle, which is our body, has to change and become as clear as this water in here. That, folks, is the power of prayer. Good morning. My name is Ralf Friedrichs, and welcome to Take Your Life Back. Today's topic is 12 things you should be able to say about yourself. These are 12 things that you should be able to say very comfortably daily about yourself. Let me just turn this down a little bit. Okay, but as usual, before we start, I'm going to shout out to Dr. Luis Gonzalez over at Starting Point at 844-414-8444. His website is www.startingpointmn.com. Also, Dr. Luis Gonzalez can do one or two of two things for you. The first thing is he can take you from addiction to recovery 24 hours at a time, daily. He will never talk about your past, and his main goal is to work on today and tomorrow to help you fight your addiction. The other entity that he does have is he, if you want to, can help mold you into a addiction recovery coach like myself and like he is. If you have passion, personality, and professionalism, and you have some sort of addiction background, whether it being your own or helping other people, maybe you were sponsored AA, call him at 844-414-8444. I have two websites, two entities. My first entity is to provide you with information that you will find on www.clearviews.info. That's CLEARVIEWS.info. On clearviews.info, I will show you over 80-something videos. There are articles and pictures and all sorts of good stuff on there. A lot of information from doctors, psychiatrists, and psychologists. They have the clinical background. They provide the medical information. I just put it on my website to help you fight your addiction, to provide you with the information that you need. On my other website, which is www.clearreform.com, that is where I can help you go from your addiction to your recovery. I will be just like Dr. Gonzalez and walk you through your path of recovery. I also will not talk about your past. I concentrate on today's 24 hours, and we talk about tomorrow. But together, Dr. Luis Gonzalez and I and the rest of all the addiction coaches globally can help you take your life back. Like I said, we're going to talk about, the cat must be around again. We're going to be talking about 12 things that you should be able to say about yourself. What can you say about yourself? Can you even say 5 things? Well, these are 12 things that I found online that people have said is the best thing to say about yourself. There were probably over 100, and I narrowed it down to 12. We are going to discuss the 12. We are going to discuss different methods on battling addiction. We're going to discuss how to be a good role model. And we're also going to discuss on how to recover from alcoholism or substance abuse. You need to do 2 things, and that is to admit you have a problem. You have to stop denying it. And the other thing is to seek your higher power. So let's jump right into 12 things you should be able to say about yourself. You know you're on the right track when you repeat each of the following headlines to yourself, and honestly. I am following my heart and intuition. What does that mean? Don't be pushed by your problems. Be led by your dreams. So don't let your problems just push you and push you aside. Be led by your dreams. Live the life you want to live. Be the person you want to remember years from now. Make decisions and act on them. Make mistakes, fall, and try again. Even if you fall 1,000 times, at least you won't have to wonder what it could have been. Each of us has a fire in our hearts burning for something. It could be your loved ones. It's our responsibility in life to find it and keep it. It is your life, and a short one at that. Don't let others extinguish your flame. Try what you want to try, go where you want to go, follow your own intuition. Dream with your eyes open until you know exactly what it looks like. Then do at least one thing every day to make that dream a reality. And as you strive to achieve your goals, you can count on there being some fairly substantial disappointments along the way, and be prepared for them. Don't get discouraged. The road to your dreams may not be an easy one, and like any road to any dream, it can be rocky. Let me push this down a little, like I always have to do, it seems like. There we go. So, I am following my heart and intuition is number 1. Number 2, I am proud of myself. Are you proud of yourself? I know I am proud of myself. It's funny because I was just on the phone with a customer who has had a problem trying to get her glasses for the longest time, and I explained the process of how I indirectly became a mediator for my own job, just like when I was in the Marine Corps as a lay leader, like I am as an addiction recovery coach. I am in between the customer that's either happy or upset and the end result, which is a pair of glasses. I am the only contact here in the United States for that purpose. So it's ironic that God put me again in a position of being almost like a liaison, a mediator. And so I happened to mention to this customer what I do for a living, which she knew already. I was an optician, but what else I do for a living, which is a liaison between a person that's in addiction and a person that seeks recovery. You're your own best friend and your own biggest critic. Regardless of your opinions of others, at the end of the day, the only reflection staring back at you in the mirror is your own. Accept everything about yourself. Everything. You are, and that is the beginning and the end. No apologies, no regrets. You are you, so there is no apologies, no regrets. There is change on the horizon if you want it to be. People who are proud of themselves tend to have passions in life, feel content, and set good examples for others. It requires envisioning the person you would like to become and making your best efforts to grow to be that person. Being proud isn't bragging about you, how great you are or how good you are. Being proud means that you are proud of your accomplishments. We're going to talk about being proud and being a role model in a little bit. It's more like quietly knowing that you're worth a lot. And you are worth a lot. To someone out there, you're worth a lot. But you have to be worth a lot to yourself, because in order to love, you need to love yourself. It's not about thinking you're perfect, because nobody is. I'm not and you're not. But knowing that you're worthy of being loved and accepted by not just one, but by many. Number 3, I am making a difference. I know with my videos daily, I am making a difference in this world. I know that if 2 people get anything out of any one of my videos, that is an accomplishment. My first one being me. I know that I will always get something out of each and every video, because this is my method of battling addiction. This is what I do daily to refresh my memory of what was and to remind me what can be. Act as if you do make differences in the world. And you know, it's not even just an act, because you do. No matter what you do, you can make a difference in the world. It does work for most people. If it is true that we all live to serve, it is something that you need to work with, because we are all here to serve. I was just saying to the same customer how I feel that these videos, when you see these videos, you see a face and you hear a voice, because this customer was complaining that all she got was dead ends. Emails weren't being answered and phone calls. And I said, well, now that you spoke to a person, go to my videotapes, www.clearviews.info, and you get to see the face behind the person you just spoke to. That by helping others, we will fulfill our own destiny. And it builds up your self-esteem. It certainly makes God appreciate what you're doing. The answer is a simple yes. You will build your self-esteem and you will help others. When you make a positive impact in someone else's life, you make a positive impact in your own life. Do something that's greater than you, something that helps someone else to be happy or suffer less. You are only one, but you are one person. If only every person as one person helped one other person, this world would be totally different, folks. You cannot do everything, but you can do something. Smile and enjoy the fact that you made a difference, one you'll likely remember forever. Folks, every time I finish these videos and I look at the video with my wife, I am proud of myself. I'm not bragging, but I am proud of myself because I know there is someone out there that I am helping. Number 4, I am happy and I am grateful. Are you? Happiness is within you. And you know if you have happiness within your heart. Here, happiness is within you, in your way of thinking, how you view yourself, and how the world views you. That's how you know how happy you can be or are. The lens you choose to view everything through determines how you feel about yourself and everything that happens around you. Being grateful will always make you happy. If you're finding it hard to be grateful for anything, sit down, close your eyes, and take a long, slow breath and be grateful for just being able to breathe. Just go. Because that breath you just took, just now, is somebody else's possible last breath that they are taking. So be grateful for that. If there's nothing else to be thankful for, it's the fact that you went, and you can hopefully repeat it over and over, because someone else in this world right now just took their last breath. Someone else that closed their eyes was the last time they closed their eyes. They can never open them again. So when you closed your eyes and took your breath, be grateful for that. Being grateful will always make you happy. If you're finding it hard to be grateful for anything, sit down, close your eyes, and take a long, slow breath and be grateful for the air. Every breath you take in sync with someone else's last breath is possible. That's what I just said, folks. Number 5, I am growing in the best version of me. And when we talk about the role model, we want you to be the best version of you so that you become a role model to make the best version of mini you, or otherwise known as mini me. Judy Garland once said, always be the first-rate version of yourself instead of the second-rate version of somebody else. Don't try to be anyone else. Be you. God created you the way you are. God created you. You get to write your own chapters in your book of life, which we're going to address in a few minutes. Live by this statement. There is no such thing as living in someone else's shoes. The only shoes you can occupy are your own. If you aren't being yourself, you aren't truly living. You are merely existing. Remember, trying to be anyone else is a waste of a person's time and a waste of the person that you are, because you don't want to waste that person. Embrace the individual inside of you that has his ideas, strengths, and beauty like no one else. Be the person you know yourself to be, the best version of you, on your terms. And with that remark, on your terms, it's always to include God in whatever you choose to do. Remember, He created you, and you also remember He will be the one that will eliminate you. So try to do the best you can in between the beginning of your book and the end of your book. When we talk about those chapters, it's so simple, and if you've seen any of my videos, we all have a beginning and we have an end. My beginning was in 1961. Through the first 17, 18 years, my parents helped me write my chapters in my book of life as role models, and then at 17, I started writing my own chapters. From 1961 until 1981, chapters included a normal childhood and included some alcohol. In 1981, I joined the Marine Corps. I was in Beirut, Lebanon. I joined the Marine Corps in 81. I was in the chaplain. I was in, I was in the church, and the chaplain came up to me and asked me to be a lay leader. Again, just like me being the liaison between this customer, the mad customer, and where her glasses were, and me being an addiction coach between addiction and recovery for you. I was a lay leader, which is between the recruit and the chaplain. So if you see the whole big picture, God has always put me in a position to kind of be a mediator. If I could mediate a peace between war, I would do that. But so in 81, I became a lay leader. Let's fast forward my chapters in my book to 83, stationed in Beirut, Lebanon. We have a bombing. We lose 241 Marines. I was injured pretty bad. God shielded me from certain death. Now I'm going to fast forward. We're going to fast forward all the way to 2009. I was in another accident up in the Arctic Circle. God shielded me from certain death again. But in between all those chapters that were written, there always included a lot of alcohol. Now I'm going to fast forward 2009 to 2011. God tapped me on my shoulder and he said, can you help the older people and the handicapped? And I created Mastic Beach Outreach 2011, which is a no-profit at all organization that I created, which is to help handicaps and elders. And what we did is we provided clothing and food and services to these people. However, when God tapped me on my shoulder, my alcoholism has become to probably its worst higher ground. In other words, I was drinking 10 to 15 shots of vodka a day. But God continuously protected me from certain death, but he also continuously let me write my own chapters in my book. Now we're going to go to 2013. My whole world crashed around me because I finally, thank God, hit rock bottom. God let me write every single chapter because God wanted me to see that I could not live without his guidance and direction. So in 2013, I reached up to God. I climbed out of the pit of rock bottom, and from 2013 to whenever my end of time is, when God doesn't, when God feels that I need to leave the earth, every chapter will be written by me. I am responsible for every chapter. Every chapter will include my God, will include my thrive to help other people with addiction. I couldn't think of the word there, but my motivation will never stop on helping other people that have addictions, and every chapter will be good. So if you understand how that works, you have your beginning, you have your end, and you have lots of chapters in between. Every year is one chapter. I am up to chapter 52. My first, let's just say my first 50 chapters or so included always a good human, included always a good person, but included, out of the 50 chapters, take away 14 from 0 to 14 years old, 36 chapters always included alcoholism, folks. 36 chapters. But chapter 51 doesn't have it. Chapter 52 doesn't have it. And then from now until the end of my time. So that is your book of life. And always remember, it's the last chapters that mean the most in people's minds because they remember them most. And remember that when you reach up to God, it is God that will forgive you for any chapters that were written by you that were not good at all. So let's go to number 6. I am making my time count. And we all need to make our time count here on earth. There has to be a reason for living other than just going like a rat in a maze or in one of those spinning things that a mouse walks in. Time is the most valuable efforts and time of living. Let me read that again. Time is the most efforts of your life to live the perfect time. Make the time for what does matter today. Really being in the moment, finding passion in your life, seeing the world and traveling, or just seeing the world that's normal around you. Being with great people, doing amazing things, and eating amazing food, and savoring life's little pleasures. Remember, your time is priceless, but it's free. God gave you that time. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can spend it, but you can't keep it. Once you've lost it, you can never get it back. You really do only have a short time to live. So let your dreams become big, and become bigger and bigger as you go on, and let your fears and your actions louder than your words become smaller. But let your actions scream out loud so that other people might see it. Make your time count. I am honest with myself, and you need to, because if you can't be honest with yourself, you'll never be honest with other people. That's number 7. Be honest about what's right, as well as things that need to be changed or things that are wrong in your life. Be honest about what you want to achieve and who you want to become. Be honest with every aspect of your life, always. Because you are the one person who can forever be counted on to yourself. Search your soul for the truth so that you truly know who you are. Once you do, you'll have a better understanding of where you are now and where you want to go. And you'll be better equipped to identify where you want to go and how you want to get there. So you have to be honest with yourself, because if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest, period. Number 8, I am good to those I care about. And you know what? I do agree with that statement, but you need to be good to everyone, no matter what. You need to be good. You need to be forgiving. In human relationships, distance is not measured in miles, but in affection. Two people can be right next to each other, yet miles apart. So don't ignore someone you care about, because lack of concern hurts more than angry words. Stay in touch with those who matter to you most. Not because it's convenient, but because it's worth the extra effort. And what does it take for you to really stay in touch with people, especially the elders, folks? I addressed that issue in one of my other videos. When was the last time you told your family and close personal friends that you love them? Just spending a little time with someone shows that you care, shows that they are important enough for you, that you have chosen to be with them. Out of all the things you do on your busy schedule, find a time just to say I love you and spend a little time together. Talk to them, listen to them, and most importantly, understand them. Number 9, I know the unconditional love feels like. I know what unconditional love feels like. Whether your love is towards a child, a lover, or another family member. Know the feeling of giving love and not expecting anything in return is precious. This is what lies at the heart of unconditional love. Love through unconditional love is a wondrous adventure that excites the very core of our being, lights our path with delight. This love is dynamic, powerful energy that lifts us through the most difficult times. Love is beautiful and unpredictable. It begins with ourselves, for without self-love, we cannot love others. How can we truly love anything or anyone if you don't love yourself? In loving ourselves, we allow the feeling to generate within us, and then we can share what's inside of us with other people. It's beautiful the way it's worded. Number 10, I have forgiven those who once hurt me. And that is super important, because when you forgive, you let that anger and that hatred out of your own heart, and it decreases your stress level. We've all been hurt by another person at some point or another. We've all been treated badly. Trust was broken, hearts were hurt. And while this pain is normal, sometimes the pain lingers far too long. We relive the pain over and over again, letting them live rent-free in our head, and then we have a hard time letting go. You need to learn to forgive. What's that statement? Forgive and forget. I always say it is good to forgive, but you'll probably never forget, and that is super important that you remember that. Number 11, I'll take full accountability of my own life, because you are responsible for your own chapters in your life. We just addressed that issue. Beginning, birth, end is death. It's what's in between. And today, September 25th, 2014, can be the first day of new chapters being written by you in your book of life. But it all starts with you. It starts with you to stop denying that you have a problem, and starts with you by asking God for guidance and direction. Own your choices and mistakes, and be willing to take the necessary steps to improve upon them. Either you take accountability for your life, or someone else will. And you don't want somebody else to run your life. And when they do, you'll become a slave to their ideas and dreams instead of a pioneer of your own. You are the only one who can directly control the outcome of your life. And no, it won't always be easy. Every person has a stack of obstacles in front of them, and that goes right back to following your heart and intuition. It's not going to be an easy road, no matter which way you look at it. Life is not an easy road. Life is as good as you make it. No matter how bad, how financially broke, how little your home and how lousy your car is, your life is as good as you make it. And how is that possible? If you financially can't make it better, you can make it better spiritually and emotionally. One way is to have no regrets. This is one simple combination of previous of the previous 11. Follow your heart, be true to yourself, do what makes you happy, be with who makes you smile, laugh as much as you breathe, love as long as you live, and say what you need to say without hurting someone, of course. Offer a helping hand, and when you're able, try to help as much as possible. Appreciate all the things you have, and then at the end of the day, thank God for another breath that you're allowed to take. Those are the 12 things that you should be able to say to yourself. You should be able to say, I'm following my own heart and my intuition. You should be able to say, I'm proud of myself. You should be able to say, I am making a difference. You should be able to say, I am happy and grateful. You should be able to say, I'm growing into the best version of me. You should be able to say, I'm making my time count. You should be able to say, I'm honest with myself and others. You should be able to say, I'm good to those who I care about. You should be able to say, I know what's unconditional love and I know what it feels like. You should be able to say, I have forgiven those who once hurt me. You should be able to say, I take full accountability for your life. And you should always be able to say, I have no regrets, folks. And it all starts today, September 25th, 2014. And it all starts in your home that we spoke about. You, as the parent or grandparent or legal guardian, need to be the role model. What is a role model? A role model is someone that other people look up to, that other people might mimic you to be, that other people look at you as their hero. Who are those people? Those people usually would be your children or your grandchildren. So you as a role model should never do these 4 things, especially in front of them. Never smoke, because when you smoke, they will smoke. That is a guarantee, because they think if it's okay by you to smoke, it should be okay for them to do it. Number 2 is drink. When you drink, you're saying it's okay for them to do it if you do it in front of them. Number 3 is to use profanity. When they hear the lousy words that come out of your mouth that are so filthy, they will think it's part of the English language and they will utilize those words daily themselves. Number 4, domestic abuse or physical violence. Never ever should you ever do that anywhere, especially in front of your children, but never do it anywhere. If you do find yourself doing that, you need to go and seek counseling and some therapy. You really do, folks. Folks, if you don't seek the counseling and therapy, that slap here and that punch that you deliver to your loved one possibly could be a knife one day or a gun. And if you're the victim of the person that I'm speaking of, you need to call the authorities immediately. It is better for the authorities to be called to have your loved one taken out in handcuffs, and hopefully your loved one will seek some sort of treatment, than the authorities to be called to have you taken out in a body bag. So the role model examples that I just gave you cannot include those 4: drinking, smoking, profanity, and domestic abuse. Cannot include them. But they should include these 4: love, compassion, respect, and what do you think the number 4 is? Be a good role model. That's right. Those 4 have to be in your household. When you let the sunshine from outside come into your heart and your home, you will get nothing but positive results out of that. But if you continue letting the darkness, like the smoking, the drinking, the profanity, and the domestic abuse, stay in your home, you will get nothing but negative results. If you want your children to one day be on Jerry Springer, Maury, or Steve Wilkos, to say on there that it's because of your parents or their parents that they are doing what they're doing, then continue doing those 4 things that I told you not to do. Continue smoking, drinking, profanity, and domestic abuse, and you are telling your kids it's okay to do that. It's okay. Go ahead. Because if I'm doing it in front of you, it's okay. And they will go and take that out to society, and they will blame their parents or their grandparents for the rest of their life, because they are going to say, this is what we saw daily. I was brought up this way, as they're going to say. My father sexually molested me, someone might say. My parents hit me, someone might say. My parents constantly drank in front of me, someone might say. Don't give them any reason to say any of that. Be the role model that God wants you to be. Starting today, September 25th, 2014. Be that role model. And you will write those chapters in your children's book of life from 0 to about 17 or 18 to include love, respect, compassion, and that will also include you being a good role model. Wouldn't that be perfect to have that in their chapters, in their book of life? Then your mission is accomplished. And one other thing I want to add to that is you got to make sure that you go into your bathroom and you need to arrest your legal drug dealer that's in there, called Mr. Medicine Cabinet. If you leave any addictive drugs in your medicine cabinet that your children can get to, you are legalizing drugs to be dispensed from there. Go in there and arrest your medicine cabinet. Take whatever belongings he has that is addictive and lock him up somewhere else so that he can't dispense them anymore. In combination of you being a good role model and the medicine cabinet not having addictive drugs, you are making a well-balanced home. By being a good role model, you are creating a well-balanced person in your children. So when they go out to society that's so terrible, they will have such a guard around them of protection that they will always thank you for the rest of your life. But if you don't either become a role model, a good role model, or if you haven't been one, let today, September 25th, be the first day of you writing your new chapters in your book of life. And if you have issues with substance abuse, let today, September 25th, 2014, be the first day that you're going to say, Ralph, I know I have a problem. Because when you stop denying that, that's when your life really will start. And that's when you have to reach to your higher power. And you have to ask for guidance and direction. These are the methods. You can go to AA. They have, when you first hit rock bottom, they have a thing called the 90-90, which is 90 meetings in 90 days. Go there. Do those 90 meetings in 90 days. Do the 12-step program. Work it as best as you can. Go to the meetings. Meet people. Try to meet a sponsor. You need to get somebody that you can lean on. And if that works, that is great. It's worked for millions of people since 1936. I did try AA. I needed to be more active. I needed to be involved like I'm doing right now. I needed to be my face, my voice into your living room. That way you can get to see what a real person looks like that has probably the same issues as you. My methods include www.clearviews.info, which is all informational things on addiction and recovery. My methods include my videos. I've done over 115 videos already, folks. My methods include stomping the grounds of my alcoholic days in Mastic Beach, stomping those grounds to speak to people just like me, just like you, and interviewing them so that you get to hear the interview. And what is that interview going to tell you? It's going to paint a realistic picture of what people are going through daily, whether it be drugs or alcohol. That is what those interviews are going to do. So that is my method of working. I work the videos, I work the interviews, I work my websites. I work Twitter, Blogger, Dig, Dogpile, Google, Yahoo. Google. Yeah, I said Google. But there are plenty out there. I work all them. I work 2 websites. I work 2 pages on Facebook, clearviews.info and Clear Reform. And I work an open group, Clear Reform, on Facebook. So as you can tell, I'm actively involved in my own recovery. I'm actively involved in your recovery. If you want to chat with me, you can text me at 631-599-0218. If you want to call me, you can call me at 844-405-HELP. If you want to email me, you can email me at clearreform, that's CLEARREFORM @Yahoo. And if you want to go to my other website, it is www.clearreform.com. clearreform.com. That's CLEARREFORM.com. These are all methods that you can utilize, but if you are a person that seems to constantly, when you're alone, find yourself drinking or doing drugs, check into a rehab center. They offer the 30, 60, 90-day programs. They take insurance, they take Medicaid. However, if you don't have either, contact your local website and see what's offered by your state. And if that's still a problem, contact me. Text me at 631-599-0218 or email me at clearreform@yahoo.com or call me at 844-405-HELP. I have connections. I'll see what I can do to try to get information on where you might be able to utilize some sort of treatment center that doesn't require a lot of funds or any funds at all. But you need to reach out. You have those three methods of fighting your addiction. All methods have to include an action plan by you. What is it that you expect from your recovery, and how are you going to get there? And all methods have to include your higher power, because fighting an addiction will not happen unless you have God on your side. Well, God's always on your side unless you admit to God you have a problem and you ask Him for guidance and direction. You need to do that, folks. So in combination of any method we just spoke about and your higher power, you are on the road of recovery. Then you might want to utilize people like Dr. Luis Gonzalez over at Starting Point, 844-414-8444. You might want to utilize him as an addiction recovery coach. You might want to utilize me as an addiction recovery coach. There are so many people that are addicted to drugs and alcohol in this country that we can have thousands of addiction recovery coaches with plenty of business. And that's why I don't mind mentioning Dr. Luis Gonzalez, because it is he that molded me to becoming a master addiction recovery coach. Without his educational program, I wouldn't be here. And you can also get that educational program if you go to his website, www.startingpointmn.com. So if you utilize any of those methods, you become a role model in your own home. You do these 12 things that you should be able to say about yourself. Number one, you need to start following your heart and your intuition. You need to start being proud of yourself. You need to start making a difference in not only your own life, but in someone else's life. You need to start being happy and grateful. You need to start growing into the best version of yourself. There's always room for improvement. Each and every day I'm improving. If you would have seen my first video, it was a train wreck. And each time I do a video, 100 and some videos later, they're becoming better and better. You need to start making every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, and every year count in your life. Because one day, time is gone for you. God gave us a life on earth, but only a temporary life. It's not a permanent life. You need to be honest with yourself. If you see flaws, correct them. If you see other people with flaws, don't criticize them. You need to start being good to people that you care about. Say I love you to people. Show people that you care. Talk to people. Touch base with the senior citizens, your parents, your grandparents. They're lonely. Touch base with them. You need to know what unconditional love feels like. Sometimes the person laying right next to you could be miles apart from you. Start communicating. Start talking. Start saying, I love you. You need to start forgiving for those who have hurt you. Remember I said, forgive, but you probably won't forget. You're only human. You need to take full accountability of your life. You are your captain of your vessel. You're the person that makes every decision. You are the person that writes your chapters in your book of life. But you can also include God in those chapters, and those chapters are guaranteed to be good if you include your higher power. You need to have no regrets. And this one I'm going to read again. This one is simple, a culmination of all previous 11 things that I mentioned. Follow your heart, be true to yourself, do what makes you happy, be with who makes you smile, laugh as much as you breathe, Love as much as you live. Say what you need to say, offer a helping hand, and when you're able, say I love you to your loved ones. Appreciate all the things that you do have, and continuously smile. And with everything, always have an action plan. Your action plan tonight when you go to bed, instead of leaving your slippers, your sneakers, or your shoes at the edge of your bed, push them under your bed, folks. Why? Because when you wake up tomorrow morning, you put your slippers or your sneakers or your shoes on, you're going to have to go on your knees to go and get those from underneath your bed. And why not, while you're on your knees, praise your higher power and thank him for another day where you're able to take another breath, where you're able to open your eyes, because somewhere in this world somebody is taking their last breath and closing their eyes as we speak right now. Thank your God that you're able to live another day. Also, you need to start being generous with people. If you have extra, give. And it doesn't have to be to a family member. It doesn't have to be to a loved one. It could be a simple thing to a neighbor or a homeless person. Because how you came into this earth was with nothing. And when you leave, it'll be with nothing. So all your personal possessions are not going to be leaving with you. There will not be a U-Haul truck with your personal possessions behind the hearse that's carrying your body to your final resting place. Forget that analogy. You are leaving this earth with nothing. So why not give some of your possessions to someone in need? Because when you do for others, it will make you feel good, and certainly will make God feel good about you. Share. I always say sharing is caring. So start sharing today. But no matter what you do, you need to include your higher power. And you always have to set a goal. And how do you set a goal? With an action plan. An action plan gets to your goal, and then you achieved whatever your goal was. It's 3 steps that you need to go by. So why not start today, September 25th, 2014, to be the first day for the rest of your life. Be the first day that you're writing this beautiful chapter in your book of life. I just want to give a shout out to all my friends out in the audience, especially to my friend up north. I hope you're doing fine, and my other friend in New Hampshire, I hope you're doing fine. I hope everything is getting a little bit more stable in your house and home. I just want to also say that no matter what, you can reach out to me any time of the day. You can reach me on my cell phone any time of the day. You can email me any time of the day. Cell phone 631-599-0218, and my personal email is ralf.friedrichs@yahoo. That's ralf.friedrichs@yahoo.com. But you can also go to my websites, clearviews.info. That's all information about addiction recovery. Tons of videos, folks, tons. You can go see how I do things as a coach to www.clearreform.com. Go to Facebook. Clearviews.info has a page. Please like it when you go there. Clear Reform has a page. Please like that. Join our group. It's an open group. Clear Reform. Folks, if you want to talk to Dr. Luis Gonzalez about becoming a coach, 844-414-8444. That's Dr. Luis Gonzalez, and you can find him on www.startingpointmn.com. That's startingpointmn.com, Dr. Luis Gonzalez. Also, if you need coaching done, you can go to the same contact information and speak to him in reference to that. Today was another good segment about 12 things you should be able to say about yourself. How many were you able to say out of these 12? Let's review them real quick and just write down what you can honestly say. I'm going to be honest what I can say, okay? Number 1, I'm following my heart and intuition. I can honestly say, yes, I do that every day. My heart tells me to do these videos and to help other people. I am proud of myself. Number 2. Check that off in the yes column for me. How about you? I do make a difference. These videos I know are helping some people, so I do make a difference. Check it off. Are you making a difference? I'm happy and I'm grateful. I really am. During my drunken years, I was hardly ever happy, and I never was grateful, and I never had enough. Obviously, if I was drinking 10 to 15 shots of vodka, how happy and grateful could a person be that intoxicated? I am growing to be the best person that I can, or the best version of me. Again, I can say yes. I make my time count. That is the one item so far that I have to put in my column that's no, because I need better time management, because I have so many things going on between my job and my mission of helping others that I need to come up with a better plan for myself. So that's now, that was number 6. So now I have 5 yeses and 1 no. I am honest with myself. Number 7. I do care about the people. No, I am good about the people that I care about. How about you? I do know what unconditional love feels like. How about you? So now I'm up to, that was number 9. I have 8 in the yes and 1 in the no column. This is a tough one, and I have to say I'm going to check both columns. I have forgiven for those who have hurt me. Folks, that is so hard to do. We are human. I'm getting better at it. I have forgiven more. But for the folks that have hurt me, I'm going to check off both. So now that was number 10. I'm going to have 8 and 2 for this one. And I have to be honest with myself. I take full accountability for my life, and I do that. So now I have 9 and 2. And last, I have no regrets, and I certainly don't. The only regret I have is that it took me this many years to do what I'm doing now, because I should have done this years ago. So my end result is 10 that I can say about myself and 2 that I need to work on. How many did you score? That is the question. Folks, this was a great segment. I hope we do this again real soon again, and with the grace of God, I will be doing this again. Remember, I kept saying September 25th, but what I really should have said September 26th, because I forgot. We have Throwback Thursday on the 25th. My error. So it's actually September 26th you'll be seeing this video, and I hope you enjoy this video. I haven't decided what I'll be doing for Throwback Thursday, but it will be a good one. And as I always say, thank you so much for coming by. And you have to let the sunshine into your heart and into your home, and you will get nothing but positive feedback, positive results. Get rid of the darkness, get rid of the negativity, drop to your knees and thank the Lord for another day He has given you. And please start sharing with your neighbors, your friends, and possibly even total strangers. Start sharing, start loving, start caring, and things will change in your life when you stop denying you have a problem and you reach to your higher power. A sober today will guarantee you a better tomorrow. And if you believe what I'm telling you in your head and in your heart, it will become clear in your living room, your kitchen, wherever you might be watching me. And as always, have a sober day, and God bless you.